Hello and welcome to my UFC 277 predictions. We are going to get right into it with Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes. Now, during The Ultimate Fighter, I went into it thinking Juliana was going to win this, and I kind of feel the same, Seeing it, she seemed a lot more confident, at least in the show. And Amanda, coming off the back of it, has been saying she had an off night when she fought and whatnot. I just don't buy it. I think Juliana Pena found Amanda's weakness, and that's somebody who can walk through the shots and still be there and then end up pushing her cardio. I think Amanda wanted to lose that fight, at least when it went to the ground. I think she gave up and kind of quit. And I don't think Amanda has enough dog in her to beat Juliana. I would definitely like to see Juliana win again, too. I like Juliana. I think she's actually one of the main figures, I guess, that got me into MMA in the first place. My first introduction to it was actually the Ultimate Fighter season that she won with Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. So, I've got a soft spot in my heart for her, and people like Davey Grant, too, Raquel Pennington, These are some of the people that got me into the sport, and I am rooting for Juliana to win. Next up, Brandon Moreno versus KaraFrance. If you viewed a video I made earlier this year, you would know that I think KaraFrance is going to be the champion by the end of the year. At least that is a prediction I made. So, I'm obviously going with Kai here. I think this is going to be a tough fight, though. Honestly, this one seems pretty close. I think a lot of people are struggling to give a clear winner for this one because Kai specifically, I think his cardio can be questioned because he has not had a 5-round fight. But at the same time, his striking is really good, and that's going to pose a problem for Brandon, definitely in the early rounds. And I think the story of this fight is going to be whether or not Brandon can make this a MMA fight opposed to a kickboxing fight. I think if they just purely stand and bang in there, I think Kai is going to win. But if Brandon's able to take it to the ground, implement some of his jiu-jitsu, I think he has a lot higher chance of beating KaraFrance. Next up, we got the Black Beast Derrick Lewis taking on Sergey Pavlovich. Yeah, this one definitely has the potential to be a big old war again, just like Derrick Lewis's last fight with Tai Tuivasa, because Sergey has 12 first-round finishes and 12 wins by knockout. So, I think round one of this is going to be pretty wild. I'm going to be taking Derrick Lewis. I definitely hope he wins. Spanish-speaking boy. And yeah, if he loses here, that's going to be kind of sad. Sergey seems like a good enough fighter, but I would like Derrick Lewis to remain somewhat near the top of the heavyweight division. Next up, we got Alexander Pantoja versus Alex Perez. And here I am going with the cannibal Alexander. I think this fight's going to be decently close, but looking at the resume of Alexander, I think he's got what it takes to get this done. And finally, for the main card, we have Anthony Smith versus Magomed Ankalaev. This one, I think Anthony Smith is who I'm going with. I'm not too confident in that because I think Anthony's done a pretty good job of analyzing what Ankalaev does, and he's going to make this a slow fight. Ideally, he's going to try to just outpoint Anthony and get the win that way. But Anthony, from what I hear, wants to make this an uncomfortable fight for Magomed, and if there's anything we could take away from fighters that get too used to fighting one certain way is when they get pulled out of that unwillingly, they perform less good. So yeah, Anthony's going in there with the intention of making this a brawl, I guess, and Magomed's going to have to do his best to keep this as a martial arts competition. For our main event of the prelims, we got Alex Morono versus Matthew Simmelsberger. This one also, I think, has the potential to be quite the brawl. But ultimately, I'm going with Morono. I think he has slightly heavier hands, and he's just the one I'm going to take in this. Now we got Drew Dober versus Raphael Alves. This one was actually pretty tough for me. Drew Dober has faced some tough competition in recent years, but at the same time, I don't know. Raphael looks like a tempting offer to take. I think I am going with Raphael here. This one's close, though. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew got it done. Next up, we have Dontel Mays versus Hamdi Abel Wahab. I'm taking Hamdi in this one. I looked at his record. He's undefeated. And yeah, this looks like they're just trying to give a debuting fighter a win. You know, I just looked and realized he's from Egypt. That's pretty cool. I think the UFC would want an Egyptian fighter. So yeah, I think this is a fight he can win. Going with Hamdi. Next up, we have a really close fight. Is KaraFrance versus Rafa Garcia. This one, going into it, I recognize Rafa Garcia, and I was tempted to take him, but after looking at the resume of Dakar, I am leaning towards him. But this is going to be a really close fight. You see what I did there? Yeah, I'm going with Dakar close, though. So next up, we're on to the early prelims. We have Michael Morales versus the debuting Adam Fuggett. I'm going with Michael Morales here for sure. He's the younger fighter, undefeated. I think this is a fight he's able to win. I think that's UFC's intention in giving him this opponent. So yeah, Fuggett. I'll go with Michael Morales. I'm coming at you with all these name puns today. Next up, we have La Pantera. Jocelyn Edwards versus Firefist Jin versus Firefist Ji Yeon Kim. La Pantera. That's an interesting nickname. Does that have anything to do with Mr. Yair Rodriguez, perhaps? I don't know, but I'm taking Ji Yeon Kim. Going into this, I was going to take Edwards, but then I noticed that she had an interesting loss to Jessica Rose Clark, which, you know, Jessica Rose Clark is. I'm not set on record as being a particularly big fan of Jessica Rose Clark's MMA abilities. I would even say that I think she isn't that good. Yeah, I said it. Jessica Rose Clark is not that good, so for Jocelyn Edwards to lose to her, I think says all that needs to be said. I'm going with Ji Yeon Kim. Next up, we have another debut. We have Nikolai Nebgum Moreno versus Ihor Potaev. Now, this one was a little tough as well. I ultimately am going for Ihor, though. He's taller, and he's the debuting guy. I think this is a fight that he's able to win. There were some other things that were making me lean his way in the records, but yeah, I think Ihor can get this done for sure. And finally, starting off the card, we have Mike Diamond, better known as Blood Diamond by people. He debuted earlier this year on the undercard of Adesanya versus Whitaker and took an unfortunate loss to Jeremiah Wells. But I think since then we've kind of learned that Jeremiah Wells is a lot better than we gave him credit for, or the UFC gave him credit for, I don't know. But he since then has gotten a knockout finish. He submitted Blood Diamond in the first round. He got his knockout in the first round, and I think this is a fight that Blood Diamond is being given to win. And that will conclude my UFC 277 predictions. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. And with that being said, you have a good day, like and subscribe, yada yada.